There we go. Hello, hello, and welcome back to Retrieving Sanity, your podcast for all mental health, addiction, recovery issues, and topics. Today is a special one because we are going deeper down the rabbit hole. Do y'all remember Sophia Torrini? She, if not, go and watch that first episode. But she's the clinical EFT practitioner who healed herself from a life-threatening illness when modern medicine said good luck. Last time she taught us how to tap our way to keep panic attacks away, but today we aren't just talking about calming the storm. We're talking about changing the weather entirely. She's an expert in hacking reality and a trainer under the legendary Dr. Joe Dispenza. We are digging deeper into the science of how your personality creates your personal reality and how to neurologically dismantle the old you to make space for the life you actually deserve. So, Sophia, welcome back to the show.
Oh,
And real
thank you
quick,
very much. And thank you for the lovely intro. And it's an honor to be back on your show.
of
And I love
course.
your energy. The upbeat energy is absolutely great.
Well, thank you very much. And I mean, just thank you for being back on the show because it's one of those things that we need people to help spread the word that there's other ways to really get out of a funk whenever we've kind of been in a funk for who knows how long, you know? And I found that a lot of people just kind of go back to the feelings that they say that they hate. Why is that?
Okay, well, number one, because the body gets addicted.
Ooh,
So the we have three brains. So we have the neocortex, the limbic brain, and the cerebellum. The
okay.
limbic brain is the emotional brain and the seat of your autonomic nervous system. And the cerebellum is where it becomes automatic. So people say, I want to change, right? That's
Hmm.
the neocortex. That's 5%. That's all
Mm.
it is. And the limbic brain is 95% because that's where your subconscious mind is. And every time you have an emotion, there's chemistry. So
Mm.
just like a drug addict, for example,
Mm.
I am angry. And I grew up all my life, let's say, being angry.
Yeah.
I have a lot of emotional chemistry in my
Mm.
body seeped with the emotion of anger.
Mm.
Mind you, I also have thought patterns that support it, but I do have
Mm.
chemistry, and people don't realize emotions produce chemistry.
Okay.
And energy can never be created or destroyed, it can only be transmuted. That's the second law of thermodynamics.
Mhm.
So I decide today I don't want to be angry, but I don't have any energy to do that. What happens is sooner or later, a couple of hours later, if I grew up being angry all my time, all my life, I'm going to go through a withdrawal. So the
Mm.
body likes the familiar.
Uh-huh.
So as soon as I'm trying to be calm, the body says, "Oh, there's something wrong here." Because all the body wants is familiar. It doesn't care if it's good for you or not.
Mhm.
And so people will do one or two things. Some people have willpower. So for a little bit, they'll suppress the anger. Well, now you've
Mhm.
done more damage.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, because where do you think the energy is going to go?
Well, I mean, it's gotta go somewhere, so it kinda just goes into that little bottle that I throw into the closet and say, "It's just gonna stay there forever," right?
Yeah, but it's still in the body. So
Mm.
the key here is we have to allow that energy to rise up from the body, and we
Mhm.
actually have to feel it as raw sensation without the stories.
Mm.
And that's what's going to let it out. But let's also discuss what are the differences. So thoughts are electric,
Mhm.
emotions are magnetic. Now, the electromagnetic field of the emotion or the heart, because the heart also has emotions,
Mhm.
is significantly much than the thought. So, if I have
Huh.
suppressed anger in my body,
Uh-huh.
and let's assume, where's my magnets? I can't find them now. But anyway, let's assume I have this bottled anger.
Mhm.
All I'm doing is I'm producing a Wi Fi signal and saying to the universe, give me more anger, because the outer world is a reflection of your inner world. I
Mhm.
may be thinking it in my head. I just want to, he pissed me off or whatever it is. I'm
Yeah.
not expressing it outward, but it's in my head. So I'm producing an electrical charge. The body is feeling it. So I have the magnetism there. And now I'm a pure Wi-Fi signal, so the universe is going to give me more anger. And now I'm in a loop cycle. That's how
Hmm.
you end up on the hamster wheel, and you can't come out.
Huh. Okay, so that does make a lot of sense in some ways, and you did say that someone would get addicted to that in a
That's
weird
correct.
sense. But I mean, in some way, shape, and form, like, don't we want to be addicted to the good feelings?
That's
Isn't that
correct.
uh
That's correct. But you're going to have to go through withdrawal
mhm,
in order to go to the good feelings, just like when you do a fasting, right? I've done a few times fasting. I
mhm.
have a different taste of foods now.
Yeah.
But when I was fasting,
Mhm,
I was craving food.
mhm.
Now you send me back to eat that food, I don't want it.
Yeah.
So I did go through a withdrawal while I stopped engaging with that food. In this case, it's the emotion, but the difference is it's not just engagement with the emotion. That's one of the steps, but also allow the energy to move through, because all emotions have information. And when
Mm.
you allow it to move through,
Mhm,
it will come out and it will give you a message. And the same applies for pain and stuff. There's usually
mhm,
a message, because the body, all it wants to do is to keep you safe and move forward. But if it was programmed under the wrong conditions, it
mhm,
doesn't know.
mm.
And if you were 4-year old and your survival was only anger to keep you safe, the body thinks you're 4-year old, and it keeps on repeating the same thing. And that's why people call it the inner self or the younger self. It just keeps on doing the same thing, whether it's good or not.
Mhm. Hmm. Okay. And so that's kind of strange that, well, maybe not strange, but it's a new concept, kind of, that the emotions carry information, right? Because
Absolutely.
whenever we're hashing up the old triggers and wounds and everything, we may not know the exact reason, but somehow our body does know, and that's so
Yes.
strange.
So the body knows the experience. And
Hmm.
so let's say I was 4 years old. Let's make an extreme now. I was
Okay.
4 years old and I was physically attacked.
Mm.
When you're 4 years old, obviously, it's
Hmm.
not wise to raise your voice to an attacker, right? Because you're going to be more harmed.
Yeah.
So the body gets a strange message. There's danger. So
Hmm.
you're 4, don't speak up. But that anger is still inside because it had experienced anger,
Hmm.
because your space got violated. So anger is
Hmm.
an emotion of protection.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we grow older, and you've learned not to confront people. You
Like,
keep on
yeah.
swallowing, you swallow it, you swallow it. Now your blood pressure is going to go up. One of the symptoms of anger, depending what type of anger it is, it's going to be your blood pressure.
Mm.
Okay. So now, because the body is thinking you're still 4, you can't speak up, Keegan. If you dare to speak up, there's danger here. So when you go and clear the emotion, you might get the information that the person who was harming you, whatever the situation was, let's say, was mentally ill or it was unfair, but you're getting
Mhm.
also a new message. I survived it.
Hmm.
It's not happening when you clear the emotion, because I was 4. If I'm still alive, I survived it,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
So I can now the circumstances are different. If someone tries to violate my space, I can speak up.
Mm.
Versus
Mm.
in the first case scenario, if I never clear that emotion, I learn either to be passive aggressive or avoid confrontation.
Mhm.
That's why the battered wife keeps on going to the husband who keeps on beating her up,
Mhm.
because somehow she has learned that there's fear if something bad's going to happen if she leaves, and all she knows as familiar is violence.
Mhm. Hmm. Yeah, that's really okay, so hang on. Oh man, I wish that thought were not trying to run away from me real quick. Oh no. Uh so whenever we're sitting there and we're dealing with this kind of loop, it's strange because we want out of it, much like the woman trying to get out of the abusive relationship in that sense. But like you said, she was kind of programmed in such a way, but and we're always kind of sitting there, we're trying to get out of these cycles, and a lot of the self-help or the toxic positivity stuff just says brute force your way through it, set boundaries, and that's it, but I don't really think that that
Doesn't
does
work
too much.
because the body says no.
Yeah, yeah, because it's sitting there trying to go back to what it knows, right? So
You
how we clear the emotion and set a
We
new one?
clear the emotion and then we change the thought.
Okay.
So we can also start if we want the reverse, but we still have to clear the emotion. So we can say, okay, for whatever reason, I afraid to speak up. So I acknowledge it and I'm
Mhm.
going to say this time, let me see if I can practice another way to speak up. But I do have to clear that emotion because that inner voice is going to say it's not safe to speak up or they're going to ridicule you, whatever the situation was, right? Because that
Mhm.
energy is stuck there. And the three brains have to align. In
Mm.
order for us to create what we want, the three brains have to align. So, all these positive talk movements that are just plain positive affirmations don't work for two reasons. Number one, they only incorporate the first brain, the neocortex. That 5%
Uh-huh.
is pushing against that 95 that's saying no. What you may succeed once or twice, but then you're going to be defeated because you're putting all the hours trying to force yourself to do it. So you may have a random luck on something, but unless that energy
Mhm.
is released, you're not going to go anywhere. And let's address the second reason.
Okay.
Let's say you're really angry.
Uh-huh.
Whatever happened, you are seething. And I tell you, no, Keegan, just take a breath and chill out.
Uh-uh.
It's not going to work because you
No.
can receive information equal to your current emotional state. So when you're angry,
Mhm.
you are vibrating high beta brain waves. If I tell you close your eyes and take a breath, which is alpha brain waves, you're going to say, what is this loony telling me? This doesn't work. It actually doesn't work, you're going to say.
Uh-huh.
So you're going to have that experience. So you can only receive information from me when you're calm.
Hmm.
Imagine a person who's having a panic attack and I'm trying to teach them quantum physics. They just can't.
No. Uh-uh. Huh. Okay. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I want to address why also when we have this pattern when you were young, why we get these unfortunate experiences. So because everything is programming and the outer world is a recursive mirror, meaning a mirror that keeps on reflecting itself till you clear it, right?
Mm.
So you are now given the choice. Let's say I was, abused as a child. Now I'm going to encounter experiences that will be abusive again. Or let's say betrayal is a better example. So
Okay.
let's say I've been betrayed as a child, my parents betrayed me. I'm going to keep encountering in my life betrayal because I have the signal of betrayal stored in my body as a Wi Fi signal
Mhm.
and I'm going to get more betrayals till I neutralize it. Once I neutralize it and I overcome that pattern by clearing the emotion and the belief. Both the emotion and the belief needs to be cleared. Now I won't get the betrayal anymore.
Mm. Okay. So hacking reality works on that third brain as compared to the positivity aspect is just working on the first two and rather the part that's kind of weaker per se.
Yes. So the hacking reality works so on the second and the third.
Mm.
So, and well, actually, technically, all three. So let's go back to the example of betrayal.
Okay.
So I'm 5 years old. I experienced betrayal. I created a belief. People betray me. and I feel in my stomach betrayal. So all I know is I don't go, my behavior is I don't try new experiences because I'm going to be betrayed. And between my neurons, I have a memory implanted there. So
Mm.
if it was a traumatic memory, there's definitely a memory, and that replays without your awareness. So now we have the setup, right? So memories are held between two neurons. I have the thought pattern and the emotion stored in the body that the limbic brain kept on producing. So
Mm.
every time I have a thought, the emotion is going to get retriggered. More chemistry is going to be produced, even though I have no new betrayal yet.
Mm. Okay.
So
Huh.
we clear the emotion. So we're using our neocortex because you have to make a choice. You want to clear it.
Mhm.
We're working with EFT on your limbic brain. Now we've neutralized it to zero,
Okay.
right? The body feels okay. Now we ask, what would you like to rewrite it with? That's where hacking reality comes in.
Ah.
So now you create a memory that you want, meaning the client or the person I'm working, not what the practitioner wants, right? So you
Yeah.
want to feel more empowered that you survived that situation or there's no betrayal. You're loved and you're supported. And we emotionalize it. We do it in reverse now. We create the belief, we create the new emotion, which is positive, and we feel it and we infuse it both on the body and on your timeline.
Hmm.
So you send it to your whole timeline. Why? Because your life is picture frames, picture frames, picture frames. So
Yeah.
you have to send it on your timeline, starting at the moment of your conception, all the way to the now, all the way to your future. And
Hmm.
if you keep on feeling and feeling that emotion, you're actually shifting to a parallel timeline.
Hmm. Interesting. So it's kind of one of the things that I'm curious about because you're saying that every time we have that, just that synapse triggered, we're literally creating that emotion again. We're going through the information again. So that would tell me that that's why talk therapy doesn't work for a lot of people because sometimes it makes people sit there and freak out and they can't really push through it because talk therapy sounds like it would be that toxic positivity sometimes because some people say all you need is talk therapy. And in my experience, like it's great for identifying things, but it can only do so much, I think.
Actually, Heb got the Nobel Prize. What fires together wires together. So if you're actually only talking about it, what you're doing is you're rewiring it even more to your body. Because
Mm,
every time, if you ask me what happened, what's that betrayal,
mm,
my mind's going to replay it for a second. I'm going to recall that memory, and then I'm going to feel it. I'm going to say, I can't believe he did that to me. Well, guess where this anger is going? Right back in my body. I'm seeping more anger.
mm,
So Heb, who was, I think he was a psychologist, Donald Heb was his name. What fires together, wires together. Now
mm,
the reverse is true. What no longer fires together, no longer wires together. So we want to clear the emotion and not allow us to keep on repeating the same story. So
mm,
we prune the synaptic connection.
mm. Okay.
And once the synaptic connection is pruned and you've cleared the emotion, there's no addiction from the body to
Mm,
go back. It doesn't really matter.
yeah.
I mean, because I have had some traumatic experiences and they've been almost wiped out.
That's awesome. So real quick, I've heard of this argument before. Some people say that belief doesn't necessarily have to have emotion behind it, but at the same time, whenever I first learned actual emotional intelligence and what beliefs really were, I found out that I have to change the emotion attached to a belief if I want to change that. So, do you think that emotion or belief comes
Well,
first?
if you go to all the spiritual teachings, let's take
Mm-hmm.
Neville Goddard. He wrote Feeling is the Secret.
Mm,
Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton and what's the Greg Braden all talk about the emotion. If you look at the Gospel of Thomas or the Gnostic Bible, they all talk about the emotion. It was what was deliberately moved out, removed, so we can't manifest the reality we wanted. The heart is the portal that changes your reality. So without emotion, the belief alone is not going to stand.
Hmm. Okay. So we have to utilize a part of ourselves that maybe we just don't want to feel again, right? Because sometimes, I don't know for a lot of people, but sometimes the sheer thought of certain emotions is enough to make me triggered and say, I don't want to even go there for a little while because it's not safe, right?
Well, what happens is, let's say you want to overcome betrayal, and let's say you
Mm-hmm.
met a new woman. Let's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
make the story up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you just mentally say, I want to meet a new woman. When you actually meet someone, aren't you physically excited in your body?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's say you haven't practiced it, but it's that excitement that connects you with that person. But let's say you've had all of your life betrayal. What's going to happen is you want this new lady, and now try to manifest it, so you have to emotionalize it. Your body is going to give you right then and there that knot in your stomach to tell you to clear it, not to not go there. It's telling you, Keegan, if you want this lady here,
Huh.
I have an issue here.
Mm-hmm.
I have an opposing uh, wave, or frequency is a better word, in your body, because remember we said everything is physically stored in the body, and the memories, the traumatic memories, are in the hippocampus. So
Uh-huh.
the body's going to say, no, you've been betrayed 5 times, you can't go there. So
Hmm.
the only way you can go there is clear that emotion, and then stay in the new positive vibration.
Huh. So hold up. What you're saying is that maybe what a lot of us feel whenever we're kind of approaching the wall of certain emotions is actually our body saying keep going and not turn back.
No, no, the body is saying these are your old beliefs that you need to
Ah.
clear and keep going.
Okay. So you can't progress until you pass checkpoint A and clear it. Got it.
That's correct.
Huh. So how does our body know that we need to clear it to move forward? That's kind of
Because the body
strange.
follows the mind. The
Okay.
body follows, and remember, we started, the three brains have to be in alignment,
Mhm.
and the limbic brain controls the body.
Mm.
So you're going to have to overcome the fear. And if you ever hear some successful people, they always say, I did it anyway, even with the fear there. And some even cleared the fear, but they went ahead regardless, whatever. And every time you've taken a risk, even in personal stuff, they may have been a fear, but if the feeling was so overwhelming with joy, you decided to override the fear, which is what we're supposed to do, or even better, neutralize it.
Huh.
That way, you're not having too much resistance.
Okay. Interesting. There's you just talked about overriding fears and stuff, and it just made me think of a term that I had come across whenever I got my DNA tested from someone earlier this year, and I need to speak to him about this. But it in the analysis, I have some genomes that or epigenetics that are related to fear extinction. So I have an abnormally level of fear extinction in my DNA. So I don't know if that means that I have a harder time getting rid of it or I have an easier time getting rid of it because
Uh,
sometimes.
I don't know if it's harder or easier, but remember,
Hmm.
we said everything is stored in your body and your
Yep.
DNA and your cells. So
Uh-huh.
maybe actually you're being led to go and clear it and override that,
Hmm.
right? So your
Ooh.
physical body is a projection from the field.
Mm-hmm.
You're not, we're not physically here.
No.
So we are a projection. So once you project change the blueprint, then that won't be an issue. And you could be having it because a lot of us have had other lifetimes where we were extinct.
Mm.
And we do, and we know from people who do regression, a lot of people have symptoms or certain things because they experienced something in another lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to go digging in the other lifetime. You can actually physically see what you're feeling now and say, does this emotion still serve me? Is something still happening here?
Mm,
I've had times where this anxiety has come up out of nowhere. Now, in the old days, I didn't know what to do with it. I would just have this anxiety. Now
mhm.
I'm so familiar with it. I'm saying, okay, is there anything happen? I look around. Is there anything happen physically here? So if there's no danger and I'm not thinking about something that's going to happen tomorrow or next year or next month, then somehow this energy is telling me it wants to leave my body.
Ooh, okay. So, would do you think some people would be uh, call that intuition, perhaps, or a form of intuition?
It could be intuition, or your body just basically says, I've had enough. You want to heal. Let's say you're working
Mm,
on healing
mm,
and it just wants to come out. My
yeah.
patterns usually show up. Let's say there was a day or two last week that I was frustrated. My body was fidgeting in meditation because I've been frustrated. So I wouldn't
Mm,
sit still. So the
okay.
body always follows the mind till you become the master of the body. So, and the body may think you are at a wrong age.
Mm,
It gets stuck in these loops because it hasn't gotten updates on its software.
okay. So, hacking reality is essentially giving our own firmware an update, right?
Got it right. Got it
uh,
right.
can someone use this kind of thing to build more positive like character attributes for themselves, like patience, for example? For someone like myself, I took one of those personality tests and it placed me on like this percentile thing, and I forgot which one it was. I'll have to look into it again and memorize it, but I was really high over here, like and then whenever it came to patience and temper, I was really low. And I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. But everything else is like I'm decent-ish. But those are one of the things that I've always wanted to work on is temper and patience. But I feel like maybe there's something in the way that's causing that to actually happen.
Okay,
And
so you can actually change both. Remember, we said
mm,
your personality creates your personal reality. So, how you
uh-huh.
think, act, and feel, those are the three brains, and you can't separate them.
Mm,
So, there's something, you said your temper, right?
mm-hmm,
Okay, then that means you have suppressed anger. You were taught not to express or confront people, or there's certain things that happen to you that the body still hasn't cleared. It could be old unfairnesses that the body still holds. So now when you get a trigger,
mm-hmm,
your temper comes up.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
if you clear the old anger,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to leave.
Okay. So it's not necessarily sitting there and building something up. It's like getting a parasite off, more or less.
Yes,
Huh.
absolutely. Absolutely. You're basically deleting an old behavioral pattern. And maybe when you were young, or whenever that was, that program served its purpose. Like in the
Mm-hmm.
scenario that I gave you, that I had suppressed anger when I was, violated. It wasn't safe for me to attack back.
Mm-hmm.
I was 5. Obviously,
Mm,
that anger got stored in the body.
yeah.
So we usually, when it's a temper coming out, it's usually you're a pressure cooker. It's like boiling water, and the excess that the body can no longer take is what's coming up. And your best thing is to clear all of it. If you, well, not all of it, most of it. You're
Yeah.
never going to be, no one's going to ever be perfect. And we don't want to be fully zen. So
No.
someone runs us over with a car and say, thank you. That's not what we're looking for.
I love that you just brought that up because it does remind me of something that I haven't
I
thought of in
lost
a
your
little
voice.
while.
I don't know what happened.
Can you hear me?
No sound.
Uh-oh. Test, 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 test.
Ah, you're right
There we
back.
go.
Yes.
Okay. Let me turn this down real quick. All right. Can you still hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. So one of the things that I haven't thought about in a while is someone was talking about how this toxic positivity that's going around is essentially saying you're going to go to work, grin and bear it, and be happy about it, kind of thing, or you're going to essentially be a doormat of some sorts because that's just a cycle. That's just the way it is for everyone else. But what you're saying is we don't want to be necessarily zen to the point to where it's like everything or anything bad happens. We want to still feel that kind of anger or those quote unquote negative
Yes,
emotions because they serve a purpose.
correct. We want to feel them, but we don't want to act them out.
Mm,
And usually, let's assume about creation. When is your best creative moments, or when are your happiest time? When what you were doing you really loved. So these people who want you to grin and bear it, where do you think that resentment is going to go? It's going
mm,
to go back into your body. So
mhm.
you want to align and change your thinking. Maybe you frame it around this is temporary. Let's say it's a job you hate, and you
Uh-huh.
start learning to use it as a stepping stone. But to force yourself to go there and hate it and keep on repeating these thoughts, I hate this job, I hate this job, I hate this job, all you're doing is producing more negative energy, because every thought and emotion will produce chemistry, and that gets stored in the body. Now we
Mm,
want to consciously create more positive emotions. So when you're very depressed, which is suppressed anger again,
hmm.
we want, yeah, well, the word depress, you're pressing down your anger.
Yeah.
So that's what you're doing. And
Huh.
so you've pressed it down so much, it's like you're holding a dam of emotions. You're physically exhausted. You have no energy to do because you're holding down unconsciously all the store anger in your body.
Huh.
And I could probably show you the maps of consciousness if I could find them clearly to see why these emotions. Let me just see quickly if I can find it. I have it on my desktop so people can see why these emotions are. Here it is. I found it. Now I have to open you back up. Are very important.
Okay.
Now, the maps of consciousness were designed by Dr. David Hawkins, who was a famous psychiatrist. So we want to do a screen. How do I think
So let's see.
I have
Uh,
screens open and I have this window here open?
so if you go down to the bottom, you
Yeah,
might
I
see.
found it, but I don't
Okay.
know which window to select. So what I'm going to,
Uh-oh.
yeah, I'm just going to close this other one so there's nothing open. Hopefully you'll see what I want you to see.
Alrighty.
Because I found the share, but I didn't find how to show my little image. Okay. Uh, no, no, I have too much stuff open. We'll let it go. Okay.
Uh,
Anyway, on the maps of consciousness, anything below 200, and I'll give you the emotions so we know what they are. We start with the lowest one, which is shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, and pride. So
okay.
all of those emotions weaken the body. Physically will actually weaken the body.
Okay.
And when you are depressed, which is usually depressed is around the apathy, it was below anger. So
Uh-huh.
when you actually start, oh, you found it.
Yep.
Excellent.
Is this the more correct one?
It's one of the, yeah, yes, that's pretty good. Yes.
Okay.
So when you are down here on the bottom, the grief, the apathy, the guilt, that's your first energy center.
Okay.
The second one is your second energy center, and the yellow is your third. And
Gotcha.
as you're going up, if you're depressed, you're actually going to feel anger.
Hmm.
And actually, it's a healthy, if you see it's 150, it's
Uh-huh.
much healthier than when you're, because usually when you're depressed, you feel despair, hopeless,
Mm-hmm.
and that is 50, and this is a logarithmic scale. And besides being a survival paradigm, it actually weakens the body.
Huh.
And if you
Interesting.
can see why, I can now prove to you based on the maps of consciousness, thought, which is reason,
Mhm.
doesn't get you. This chart is missing a few stuff, but that's okay. Above above reason is love, and love and joy and peace is actually what creates the miracles.
Hmm. Okay. Um, so whenever you say that, is it because we're kind of sitting there at those higher vibrations and sending out
Yes.
that better Wi-Fi signal, correct?
You're having a very good Wi-Fi signal here, and
Mhm.
also this now is not life depleting. It's actually producing a field outwards. The ones below the yellow, where the
Uh-huh.
pride and below, are actually weakening your system, your body. Physically, they're
Mm.
weakening, and your Wi-Fi signal is incoherent. And the heart math would say you're not brain and heart coherent. So the brain and the heart have to be coherent.
Mhm.
And brain and heart coherence is the heart and both hemispheres of the brain being coherent. That's when you manifest your dreams.
Mm. Okay. That's really interesting. So how would one person know if one side of the hemisphere is not working properly or not?
You're just imbalanced. You can't sustain a positive thought or something, or you go into looping. Looping, you definitely know
Uh-huh.
that you're not coherent.
Huh. Okay, so looping. I do like that because that's one of the things that I know has tripped me up and keeps a lot of people in addiction or even trauma patterns.
Mhm.
Is that loop kind of like what we were talking about before?
Mhm.
But I think we kind of hit it on a different angle this time around because that loop is something that, like you said, it's kind of like a mirror on its own mirror
That's
sometimes,
right.
right?
Yes. Well,
Huh.
so let's discuss what this reality is. You're a
Okay.
divine spark
Mm-hmm.
that wanted to have an experience to remember who you are, right? Let's just make it simple,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you have the creative spark that the divine God, whatever you want to call it, has, right?
Mm-hmm.
To manifest and create. And you decided to come to earth to have an experience. And now you're on your way path back, remembering who you are,
Mm-hmm.
right? So an eye or you cannot see itself without a mirror.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Tooth cannot bite on itself, it needs something,
Mhm. Yeah.
right? So how the reality was created to show you how you're doing is the outer world is a mirror.
Mm.
That's why the statement is your personality, how you think, act, and feel creates your personal reality, which means your world.
Mm.
So your thoughts and emotions and your actions are projecting in the outer world your world. And when
Huh.
you change, the outer world changes. So
Mhm.
that's where the mirror comes in. And when we uh, get stuck on that analytical thinking, that's the hamster wheel. And that's why we're on the left side of the brain. And a perfect example of that is the movie Groundhog Day. It's
Mm.
actually excellent. As long as he was thinking and feeling the same way, being angry, ticked off with what was happening with the squirrel, whatever it was, I don't remember it fully well, he was getting the same day on a repeat. He was on a recursive mirror loop.
Mm.
No matter how he tried, even if he tried something different to
Mhm.
get this woman that he was in love with, he was still ending up at the same scenario because he was the same personality.
Mm.
When he finally transformed his personality, he became nicer, more forgiving, and then gave up the attachment. He just wanted to enjoy the moment. At the end of the movie, he literally wakes up in another reality.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. Oh, so you said attachment though. So don't we I mean, I've sorry. I've heard that attachment is thinking that we own things, and then I've heard recently that detachment is figuring out that nothing owns us. Would you say that's correct?
That's correct. But when we talk about manifestation,
Mhm.
we don't want to be in the state of wanting because the universe gives you back what you're feeling.
Ooh,
So
okay.
if you're feeling wanting, you're just going to keep on wanting. It's going to keep on getting delayed. So you want to let it go.
Okay.
But if I were to tell you,
Mhm.
let's say you ordered a car
Mhm.
and I told you you're going to have it next week and everything's all settled, you don't keep on wanting. And now you have the joy and the excitement your car is coming. You let the attachment go. But for a
Oh.
lot of our manifestations, because we don't trust ourselves, we can't let it go. We keep on saying, well, what if that goes wrong? What if I discuss this at my job and I ask for a raise and then they're going to say no and I'm going to get fired, right? So now we're having opposing thoughts. So
Mhm.
now your Wi-Fi signal that's supposed to go out has a contradictory signal going either the opposite direction or the waves and the crests of the wave, because waves go like this,
Mhm.
don't match out and it cancels your original desire.
Ooh. Huh, that's really interesting. So that's why some people, and I love how you're saying that if you're wanting it, it cancels it out. And so that's why you have to go back and just erase it and replace it, because then you can let go of the part that's telling you you want something different, right?
That's correct. You want to set your intention, be in the joy that you already have it in the now,
Mm-hmm.
and then drop it. Now, sometimes it has happened to me, but it doesn't happen all the time. And Neville Goddard was very good at that.
Uh-huh.
You will get an instantaneous knowing in your heart that it's going to happen.
Huh.
When you get that, that's the best moment to drop it and never think about it again. And it's a knowing. It's actually
Uh-huh.
not in your head, it's physically in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And
Huh.
that is, so he teaches you to work yourself up till you get the knowing, then it's guaranteed. When it's
Hmm.
going to happen, you don't know. So you can replay your manifestation in your mind on your free time, dropping it till you get to the place where you already know.
Hmm. Huh. Okay. Ooh, so so this also works with, like you said, personality is in a
Absolutely.
sense, right? So we're not sitting there and saying if someone is stuck in addiction, they don't necessarily have to sit there and say, I want out of addiction, I want out of addiction, I want out. They can sit there and kind of guide themselves into a different mindset to the point to where their body is wanting something different, right?
Correct. So we wouldn't say I want out of an addiction. What
Mm-hmm.
would be the opposite of addiction?
Life, love.
Okay, I feel free.
Yeah,
Whatever.
liberation.
Okay, so or whole, whatever
Mm-hmm.
word you want to choose. So your thought pattern is I'm whole
Mm-hmm.
or addiction free.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, addiction free. And what would the feeling be? Usually for an addict, it could be relief or joy.
Mhm.
So if you can't get into joy, you could start with relief. So you start imagining in your head that, and we're going to bring the emotion, I am addiction free, and whew, I feel the relief and the joy and that I'm free. And you keep on visualizing, because if you say I want to be addiction free or I hope to be addiction free, hopium is not a good drug and it's not going to get you anywhere. So, and wanting implies separation. You're not going to get there. So, you want to be in the now because creation only happens in the now. It doesn't
Mm.
happen tomorrow. It doesn't happen yesterday.
Ooh. Oh. Huh. Wait a minute. Hmm. That just made me connect a bunch of dots all of a sudden. Anyways, so but that's really cool because you're saying that uh wanting is a form of separation?
That's correct.
Huh. That is
If
that
you
be
knew you were getting the car and I was
uh-huh.
going to give it to you, and you knew for a fact it's coming next week,
Mhm.
why would you be wanting if I'm going to get it?
Yeah, it's because that want is that little bit, and this is kind of what I'm feeling. Having that want for something is kind of saying that you don't deserve it, you don't trust yourself with
Or
the
you
thing.
lack it at the very moment. If you're
Uh-huh.
wanting it, you're not having it now. So
Mhm.
you're lacking the experience of having the car.
Mm. Ooh, okay. Huh. That's very strange. So we're able to actually sit there and let our bodies know that, hey, like everything that we want, everything that we, how do we phrase that? How do we say we don't want to manifest things that we want? Because usually manifestation is things for helping us move forward with life, right? To better
Yeah, but you
ourselves,
can
to help
feel the
others.
joy of it. You're just
Mm-hmm.
feeling it. I am joyful and I keep on visualizing like daydreaming.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. You're daydreaming, you saw a pair of shoes at a store and
Mm-hmm.
you automatically imagined in your head, boy, those pair of shoes would look great on me. Now, shoes is a simple thing because maybe they don't cost too much. And the next thing you know, you bought them.
Mm-hmm. Huh.
You didn't analyze and visualize to manifest the shoes, right? But we use that same technique unconsciously. You saw the shoes and you said, I think it's going to look very nice with my black pants or
Mm-hmm.
my blue pants, and I can wear this shirt. And you replayed unconsciously in your mind how those shoes look. And you may have said, oh, I saw them on that person and they looked wonderful. And you had positive emotions. And the next thing you know, you bought the shoes.
Huh. Okay. So, what's one of the best ways that you've seen hacking reality work for someone, and the times that you've, well, maybe seen it work on in a way you didn't expect it to really go?
uh, I've seen a lot of stuff happen. You basically go to a timeline where everything's changes. Like, let's say you were about to get divorced with someone. I've actually seen a couple who hasn't gotten divorced,
Oh, wow.
but she had to go and clear the old memories of betrayal.
Mm.
And she kept on focusing on visualizing what the new life is going to be in the now. It works great on healing. It works on anything because the concept of manifestation is the same.
Mm.
So what we're trying to do, the doubt or the low frequency emotion is the opposing signal to your desire. So
Mm.
that's why we want to clear it out.
Huh.
it,
Okay.
it conflicts with your desire of being addiction free or whole or abundant,
Mm.
because the voice keeps on telling you, oh, you're broke, you're not going to find money. That doubt is physically, when you get that knot, you already know it's in your body. That has a Wi-Fi signal. And told you before, emotions are magnetic and
Yeah.
they have a stronger field than what the thought is.
Mm.
And you have to align the thought, the electrical, with the motion, which is magnetic, because around the body you have an electromagnetic field. That's why the two have to be aligned. So
Mm.
whoever teaches you can do it by thought alone, it long term does not work, because we have an electromagnetic field around the body, and how we call things to us is both with the thoughts and the emotions, and it lines up with our three brains. Then why would we have had those brains if we
Mm.
didn't need them?
Yeah. Okay, and so whenever we're talking about all this hacking reality stuff, that's where the tapping comes into play to line up and align the mind and the body, correct?
Correct. And to clear the negative emotions and negative beliefs. And now we bring in what we want to create.
Gotcha. Um, oh, real quick, where can people find you if they're looking to get some of this wonderful knowledge for themselves firsthand?
Okay, so they can come to my website,
Okay.
tapintoyourbestself.com.
Okay.
And I have a complimentary 30-minute session. I also write a blog. I also have a masterclass. The masterclass covers exactly what we discussed today,
Okay.
the preliminary of the actual class that I do.
Uh-huh.
So the class will cover how the brain and body works, and I combine it with the EFT. And now, if you buy one, you get two free. So you can bring two
Ah.
buddies with you for the price of one and have an accountability partner.
Ooh, okay. having an accountability buddy. I love that because I mean, for myself, whenever I'm going into something new or maybe even to scary territory, having someone around that I trust and know is definitely a huge morale boost, you know. And I think sometimes we need that for ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the class has a 30-day follow up. So
Oh,
you'll be followed up because you don't just take the class. I mean, what's the purpose of taking the class? And you don't have actually embodied it. Remember, we
hmm,
said the body has to get some new programming. So the whole job is to embody it. And it's a practical exercise. So you bring your two friends, you have the class, and I follow you up for 30 days, and you have an EFT um, session with it to learn how to work with these emotions that are uncomfortable for all of us.
mm, yeah. I mean, you have a really good point there. A lot of emotions that are uncomfortable, for some reason, I think that we might hold on to those and think that they're only making me uncomfortable or making me feel weird, you know, because it's like I was raised to not feel a lot of
Mhm.
emotions or to express them. And so it's like, we're just going to ignore that. Everyone else ignores that too, right? Yeah, sure.
Yes. Yeah, but it doesn't get us very far. We get rid of those and then we consciously replace them with the ones we want. I
Hmm.
mean, joy, excitement, and having fun, which is why we go to concerts, which was why we like falling in love. I mean, when you fall in love, you see the other person as no flaws for the honeymoon effect, right? And that's
Yeah.
what we want. We want to maintain those emotions as long as we can.
Mhm. And so with hacking reality, you're kind of also saying that if the spark seems to kind of go away, it might be able to just kind of breathe new life into it, right?
Mhm.
Ah, that's awesome. Uh, I'm trying to think of if there's anything else that I have off the top of my head because you made me think about one other thing, is, and that's how everything is happening in the now. You know, because you said that creation happens in the now, and like I've talked to people where they're like the past is non-existent because it's in the past, and the future doesn't exist because it's not there
That's
yet.
correct.
So everything is right now. So that really kind of solidifies the why can't you change you in the moment? Why do you have to wait for the you in the future to come to you now?
You don't have to wait for the future. That's a story that we told ourselves, and then we stay in the loop.
Mhm.
So when you say, I'm going to do it tomorrow or I'm going to quit tomorrow, you never really end up changing.
Yeah, because tomorrow never really comes, and we're here in the moment. Ugh. Um, let's see, do you have any, other things in the work at the moment behind the scenes that you're kind of just holding off on?
Yeah, well, I want to start creating some tools so people can have afterwards the EFT session.
Ooh.
So to customize for them when they're not working with me, like in between sessions, because a lot of people don't know how to do their tapping scripts. I do offer them a lot of times. I also line up their health conditions with meta consciousness so they know what's causing the condition.
Hmm,
And down the road, I'm planning the course that I teach is to extend it to a 90-day follow up. And in 90 days, you absolutely can program. I mean, I do give it, and I still have that option if the person chooses to,
uh-huh.
because in 90 days, you're really practicing this every day. You're going to rewire new neurons. It's a matter of time before you end up in the new reality. It's going to become second nature.
Ooh, okay. Oh, that is so awesome. I love that because yeah, it's one of those things that if we can make it our second nature, then the world is definitely our oyster then. So,
Yeah, it's your first 30 to 90 days that's hard in the gym. If you keep on going every day, you don't quit afterwards. But usually 90 days is a very secure spot.
mhm. Yeah, and in a sense, we're also maybe breaking habits
Mhm.
along the way that we didn't know that we were maybe holding on to, that were
That's
holding
right.
us in the past as well. Um, do you think that we could see you on in the future at some point?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to do so. And thank you very much for today.
Of
And
course.
yes, I'll reach out to you. I'm happy to take this further. Or is this ever live? I could take a question from the audience, or they can put it in the chat.
We are live. I don't know if anyone has any chat up at the moment.
Oh, not for today, but for next
Oh,
time.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we could do that and answer questions that the people from the chat want to know.
Yeah, for sure. We'll put this out there and we'll let everyone know right now that if you got questions for next time, then go ahead and leave a comment on this episode or leave a comment in the chat. And then whenever we get back to our wonderful guest, we will figure out just what the answer is. So, do you have anything that you'd like to leave the audience with for tonight, Sophia?
Yeah, I'll leave kind of similar what I left last time. No one's broken. We just have bad programming. So what was programmed can be reprogrammed. And if it's a program you don't like, you can actually delete it, just like you do with your computer. So even if you had the program for 50 years, you could just install a new program. It will take a minute, but you can do that. And I don't like the concept that we were flawed or damaged or broken. We just got some bad programming from the factory or the family.
Yep.
And now is the perfect time to change.
Yeah. I love that because I have to agree with you. I don't think we're really broken. I think if anything, we think that we're broken, and that makes us feel broken.
Yeah.
And that's where it's not the truth. But I mean, it takes a lot of work to convince yourself otherwise. So, I just gotta say thank you, Sophia, for all that you've done for the show and everything that you've done for everyone out there, because you help make people not skip, but hop timelines into a new reality that is better for them, better for the people around them. And that creates a ripple effect larger than anyone will ever know. So I just gotta say thanks for making the world a better place.
Thank you very much. And it was pleasure being here. And I will make sure I come back and we can actually ask the audience directly.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And we'll see everyone else out there in the future. And I just got to say to the audience, thank you for watching or listening to Retrieving Sanity on WDJY 99.1 FM. And as always, try to love yourself, love others if you can, but you got to love yourself first. And oh, don't forget to call 988 if you're having a mental crisis. And if you're in the LGBTQIA+ community, you can call the Trevor Project up in Canada. And I'm trying to think, do you have any resources that you'd like to throw out there, Sophia, besides
Uh,
your website again?
no, I mean, there's tons of support groups that you can find online. I don't know. I would ask ChatGPT, but make sure you're getting the right
Ooh.
information from ChatGPT
Mm-hmm.
to give me tested information. What can I do for my anxiety?
Mm.
Not, but you have to be very careful.
Yeah.
What is research stuff that I could do to calm down my anxiety? Or go online and find a breath work, just how to do breathing, not serious breath work,
Mm-hmm.
but how to do breathing to change your state till you calm down for a second,
Mm-hmm.
and then find the numbers that you have.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And everyone out there, thank you and have a wonderful night. We'll see you next time. Much love.
Thanks.
Sean.
Thank you. That was very good.
Of